What's up, guys? This is Jay from COI, and today I want to talk about the freedom of speech. It's incredibly important to us. One group, I think, holds it up a little bit higher than the other group. We'll start with the left wing and how they don't respect the freedom of speech. They want to come after characters like Apu from The Simpsons. Beloved cartoon character, let's do away with him. We can't have him. But they're completely cool with a male using his platform to say that we should have tampons in the boys' restroom. Although, when a comedian uses his freedom of speech to joke about it, well, then we got to cancel him because it's just gone too far. Or, what about when somebody wants to visit a college campus and expose these college kids to a different perspective? Oh, well, we can't have that because that's invading their safe space. Let's destroy that freedom of speech. You see, the right wing believes that it's a slippery slope. If we give in on some of these small things, it could lead to worse things. For instance, if somebody wants to lead a rally dressed up in, I don't know, an old bed sheet with tiki torches, and they want to talk about certain racial groups. Well, if we allow that, if we stop that, well, that could turn into the government controlling things. Freedom of speech is absolute, is their belief, no matter what the speech is. If it's hatred towards women, if it's hatred towards people of color, it's worth it. Because we're principled, right? That's their belief. The problem is when we talk about things like the BDS movement, for instance. And if you don't know what the BDS movement is, it is a kind of a ban, if you will, on Israeli-made products. Why? Because some people believe that the Israelis are torturing and killing Palestinians for no reason except for to push them out of their own territory. Now, regardless of if you believe that narrative or not, the important part of it is this, and that is if, let's say, you own a newspaper or you work for the government, our government, not Israeli government, our government, and you happen to mention that you support the BDS movement, they will cut your funding or fire you. Isn't that weird? They're making you choose between your job and your ideology for another country that isn't us. Seems odd. What about Julian Assange or Snowden? These are really, really important people in freedom of speech. They've exposed so many important government secrets and details. They're dragged through the mud constantly, and the guys are in hiding. Don't dare come back this way at all. If they step foot in America, they're locked away for God knows how long. And, well, at one point the right wing was for them, until their president decided, I don't care about them. Let them rot. Doesn't seem very principled. But how about this? And maybe this is more important. When a guy working for the president notices that the president is doing something that undermines national security, so he writes a book about it. Then the president threatens him that if he publishes this book, he's going to go after him. The president will go after not only the author, but the publisher as well. Because maybe this guy has a lot of dirt on that president. And maybe this guy, as where not moral or ethically sound, he is rather credible. And if you don't know what I'm talking about John Bolton and his book. In this piece of garbage that everyone's probably going to buy, there's about 20 pages that everyone's going to want to read. And it's all about this Ukraine situation and the abuse of power. And rather or not, it warrants the president to be impeached. Now, I think precedent has been set in, say, the Clinton case that abuse of power is whatever the hell they say it is. I mean, seriously, go back, look at what they really busted Clinton for, and you'll hear people like Lindsey Graham and I believe even Mitch McConnell. I know for sure Alan Dershowitz is on record of saying that, well, it doesn't actually have to be a crime to be abuse of power. Now they've completely 180'd. But that's not the important piece. The important piece is freedom of speech, the president controlling the narrative, the slippery slope, right? We'll deal with white supremacists and misogyny if that means that we're standard and absolute in our beliefs. What happened? We had to deal with all that bullshit. Why aren't you standing up for John Bolton? Because right now, Donald Trump is threatening Bolton that if he releases this book, he could be sued, he could be arrested. This is outright mob gangster bullshit, as Trump is trying to cover his own ass. He says that, well, it will expose government secrets. It's classified, essentially. But the only person who outright undermined national security was Donald Trump. And most of what John Bolton is writing about is Trump undermining national security. Again, I don't trust Bolton. If I wanted someone to check on my neighbors, I wouldn't ask John Bolton to do it because he would tell me that they're raising up arms to come attack me and my family and that we should attack them first. I don't trust him in that regard. But as we talked about in the last video, I do trust him when it comes to national security and what he believes is right. Meaning, I don't believe he's going to expose any of our agents, any of our operatives, or our SOPs for a book. But I do think he's trying to expose a fraud president who is trying to undermine our national security. I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting how one group, yeah, they get a little butthurt when you make fun of people and when you say some shit that you really shouldn't. Or, like if Jordan Peterson wants to speak at a college and they don't want him there, they get a little upset. And mind you, put that in any other situation. Like, what if a shitty band was like, well, I'm entitled to play Madison Square Garden? Isn't that weird? Yeah, we wouldn't accept that. For some reason, they do for people who want to speak alternative views on college campuses. Look, no one wants you. Go away. But regardless, I digress. Yeah, the left, not as principled in certain situations. And maybe not when it comes against their president. We don't know for certain. It's hard to say. Either way, all of us, let's be a little bit more principled when it comes to freedom of speech. It is the most important freedom we have. And the more and more that we bend it to our own narrative, the quicker it's going to break. Anyway, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts about the whole thing. What do you think about Trump's ability, or does he even have the ability to outright threaten John Bolton over the book? And the publisher, would the publisher back it if it was going to be illegal? I don't think so, but what are your thoughts on all that? Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great evening.